Hello there and welcome once again to The Verdict. I'm Mick Cornett along with Kent Myers. We're here every week meeting interesting people and dealing with topical issues, and today we welcome back an old friend.
Yes, we're really pleased today to have Burns Hargis join us again, the president of Oklahoma State University, a longtime friend, and of course practiced law in Oklahoma City, was a banker here in Oklahoma City for a number of years, and then has gone to Stillwater to lead Oklahoma State University in quite good directions, I might add. But he's kind enough to drive down here and give us his time for this show.
Burns Hargis, today's guest on The Verdict. We'll be right back.
I've been fortunate enough to premiere every film that I've produced at Sundance. Seeing your film on the big screen for the first time in front of an audience at the Sundance Film Festival is unmatched. I'm Chad Burris. I'm an attorney, a film producer, film financier, economic development financier, and I'm Chickasaw. Nobody can argue that modern day media, cinema, has perpetuated this myth, this idea of the Indian and what that is. And just the idea that, all Indians look one way or all Indians act one way is a terrible injustice. Being able to have filmmakers tell stories that are representative of some element of his surroundings, his upbringing, what they know, what they see through their own eyes, that other people get a chance to bear witness to around the world. I think that's amazing. For me personally, being an Indian today means being responsible, honest, progressive, and giving that back to the community.
Learn more about today's Chickasaws at profilesofenation.com.
It's a North American energy revolution. We're the fastest growing source of new oil and natural gas supplies in the world.
The shift to North American energy will create approximately 3 million jobs.
All that money we've been sending overseas, $400 billion a year. Imagine that staying in our economy. It's a game changer.
Real energy independence starts now, and it starts with Oklahoma.
Welcome back to the set of The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers. Kent's going to introduce today's guest.
Today we're really pleased, as I indicated, to welcome back an old friend of mine from many, many years, Burns Hargis, the president of Oklahoma State University. Burns is the 18th president of Oklahoma State and has been in that position for approximately 6 years. He did his undergraduate work at Oklahoma State, did his law work at the University of Oklahoma, then began the private practice of law here in the Oklahoma City area for approximately 28 years. Decided on a little change of course. In that time period he was with the Reynolds Writings firm in Oklahoma City and the McAfee and Taft firm here. Then decided to try out banking and see how that fit, and it fit very well. He became vice chairman of the board of Bank of Oklahoma, working with that fine institution for a number of years until Oklahoma State, the mother, came calling for the son to come back, and he took that request and became president of Oklahoma State. He, of course, prior to going to Oklahoma State, was a longtime co-host of the very fine television show called Flashpoint with Mike Turpin, which I'm sure you've seen, and Kevin Ogle. He has been active in a number of boards and cultural activities, agencies, just you name it, Burns has done it. But I think the accomplishment that signals what people think about him is his induction into the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, which is the highest honor we can bestow on a fellow Oklahoman. And so, Burns, welcome back to the verdict. Really good to see you.
Thank you, Kent.
That's quite a resume.
It's always good to see Kent, and he's not examining one of my witnesses. That's a very uncomfortable place to be. So this is a much more pleasant experience.
Well,
and you're doing a great job, Mayor. Just one thing after another comes down or goes up, I should say, here in my home city.
A lot of good things going well, including our university. So congratulations on what's going on in Stillwater.
Thank you, and we're proud of you all as well.
Well, tell us what's been taking up most of your time since we last talked.
Well, it's been a while now, but we spent a lot of time on the inquiry emanating from the Sports Illustrated articles of a little over a year ago. Last month we were able to announce with the NCAA, which is quite unusual, for them to make any public pronouncement about their findings, apart from just what they call the notice of allegations. And they joined in a statement finding the Sports Illustrated claims are fundamentally unfounded.
Yeah, that is the term. Highly unusual for the NCAA to kind of be involved in kind of defending, one of their member institutions.
Yeah.
And I think that shows, just kind of the poor semantics of what took place in that report.
Well, it's interesting. I was saying back at the time, my wife, Ann, the first cowgirl of Oklahoma State, has been after me to get rid of these boxes of Sports Illustrateds that I have in a back closet that go back to the 50s. And so I've been just a big fan of Sports Illustrated for all these years. And I must say I was so disappointed in the journalism that was done in this story. And deep down, I expected that we wouldn't find anything, that there was nothing to it, because it was so opposite from my experience with Coach Gundy and Mike Holder and just the program. I mean, there have been lots of people who who were not gentlemen, that have been let move on to other things over the years. So the idea that he would tolerate this kind of rampant violations made no sense to me. And I'm surprised and disappointed that Sports Illustrated decided to do that. But I think actually OSU and college football have emerged from the whole thing in a much more positive light. That kind of stuff just doesn't go on. Now, there's certainly violations that happen in college football, but the kind of stuff they were talking about, to defame an entire organization of girls that it's an honor group. They're terrific students and members of our community. To defame them the way Sports Illustrated did on such flimsy evidence was just unconscionable.
Right.
Well, back to Mick's point he made a minute ago, I follow these kinds of things fairly closely over the years just because they're interesting to me, but I don't ever remember a circumstance in which an institution was able to co-defend itself with the NCAA as a party on their side, almost an amicus on their side, if you will.
Well, I think it was an independent investigation, and I think they were very careful in looking into these claims. One of the things I think, though, that did help is that we announced from the very beginning that we, and absolutely genuinely, that we wanted to look at every one of these charges. We wanted to follow them all the way to ground and understand what the truth was. And in that regard, we hired Chuck Smirt, who is a very well-respected compliance consultant, was with the NCAA for many years, headed their major violations division for, I think, 15, 17 years or something like that. Well-respected within the NCAA and with college athletics. And the fact that somebody with his integrity and his experience and just his judgment, I think, helped bring the NCAA along so that they did a joint investigation. It was an investigation, though. I mean, it wasn't. Nobody was an advocate, and I told Chuck Smirt he was not an advocate. His job was to do an independent, objective evaluation of what we were doing, because I wanted to know. I mean, if we had a problem, we needed to get it fixed. So that, it is very unusual, and it's even more unusual, I think, for them to, I mean, but it happens.
Yeah.
It does happen. But a public statement like this doesn't happen very much.
Right. No. And what was the reaction of your alumni in general?
Well, I think very positive. I think most of them didn't quite buy the stories from the very beginning. In fact, you know, a number of news organizations and even Sports Illustrated alums were making critical remarks about it. And so I don't think our fan base really ever thought that there was anything like that going on. But I know that they're gratified and relieved that there isn't. It's always nice to know for sure.
Well, you did have to endure a good bit of at least year-long agony about the thing. Agony may be too strong a word, but
and
concern.
cost, I might add.
And cost. But it could turn out to be a net positive to the university with knowing now that you do have a clean bill of health.
Well, you know, parents of recruits are going to want to know that their children are going to be taken care of in the right way. And so the fact that we are committed to playing by the rules and having an honest and program of great integrity is important to parents. So I think we now have some objective proof that that's the kind of program that we have.
You've been on the job long enough now to have changed the culture of the university, continued to push in the direction that you wanted the university to go. How satisfied are you with the elevation of the university on the academic side as well as the athletic side since you came to office?
Well, I think we're making good progress. I think the university was, frankly, even before I showed up, was a lot better than people sometimes gave it credit for. It really has been a strong university in the areas of course, agriculture and the engineering, and the sciences. What had not been emphasized was really how strong it was in the liberal arts. And I know that these days we criticize liberal arts as you shouldn't get a degree in that because you can't make any money. But of course, there's a lot of people who in liberal arts that have done very well. They may have gone into journalism, or they may have gone into law or medicine or lots of things like that. But our fine arts programs are really, I think, really very good. But they have been under a cover for all these years. And so I wanted to lift that cover and then support them, provide the support so that they could flourish as much as any other area. You know, athletics are important, as I always tell people who criticize the focus on athletics. They're very important because they bring people back to campus. My math major wife probably doesn't like me saying this, but it's hard to get 60,000 people to show up for a math contest. So bringing people back to the university, then it reintroduces them and reminds them of what a wonderful place it was and what an important part it had in their life. And then they begin to support it. Our largest academic donors started as athletic donors. Well, I think the fine arts are the same way. I think that people come back for the fine arts. They may not care anything about athletics.
Yeah. Let me jump in and get us to a break. We're visiting with Burns Hargis, president at Oklahoma State University. More with Burns after this.
When you have something important to communicate, it becomes clear that there's a lot of competition for your audience's attention. So how can your message stand out and actually resonate with your audience? Legal Graphics has the answers. The team at Legal Graphics will work with you to plan, design, and even test your presentation to ensure your message will be heard and remembered. Call Legal Graphics today to schedule an appointment. The readiness is all.
The good life comes naturally to Tulsa, where nature's beauty is matched with an eye for aesthetics. A legacy of neighborhoods graced with lawns and landscaping and handsome homes. A place that seems to have patented an ideal lifestyle. Bank First is loyal to the quality of life Tulsa assures its citizens, to the priority placed on education, culture, and growth. Loyal to builders who transform raw land into residential charm. Developers who see opportunity and add vitality to Tulsa's economy. Bank First serves both enterprise and private lives that need a loyal partner. It's how we help nurture this city's very good life. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
And welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett and Kent Myers visiting with Oklahoma State President Burns Hargis. You've been on the job now long enough to have some impact on several things. Admission standards, are they where you would like them to be, and how do you view that?
Well, our enrollment has, we're very gratified that it's gone up considerably. Two years ago, we had the largest freshman class in the history of the state. Last year, it was our, I think, second largest class, but this year's class is now the second largest class. So enrollment has been growing, and a good part of that is frankly out of state. This last freshman class for the fall of 14 had 37% from out of state.
Wow.
Now, probably 90% of those are from Texas, and 90% of those are from North Texas. But no, on the admissions issue, as far as I'm concerned, especially for a land-grant university, I think that every student who is ready, willing, and able to come to college ought to be able to, and that we should not limit that by some artificially high admission standards. Our admission standards need to be at a level we believe is what is required to have a chance to get a degree. And to raise it above that, I think, is certainly not within our land-grant mission. So it's people ask me how big I want the university to be, and my answer is I want every Oklahoma kid who's ready, willing, and able to be able to get a comprehensive research degree be able to go to school. And cost should not be a barrier, and nor should artificially high admission standards be a barrier to that. And that's the way we operate. Now, we've gone through a couple of years where we have this demographic, didn't think I'd say democratic, did you? Demographic dip in the number of high school graduates. So the fact that we have all these kids from out of state coming in is of value. They pay a little more tuition than the in-state students, but a lot of them end up staying in Oklahoma, and some of them leave Oklahoma and make a lot of money and give it back. I can think of one in particular like that.
How many students, just roughly, do you have?
Well, on the OSU Stillwater campus, there are about 24,000. Wow. About 4,000 of those are graduate students, often getting PhDs, and I think we have PhDs in over 100 disciplines. In Tulsa, there's about 3,000 in the OSU Tulsa facility, and then another 500 in our medical school there. And then Okmulgee has about 1,000 or 1,500. Their graduation or their job rate for graduates is like 100%.
Wow.
I mean, anybody that comes out of there gets a job because they have highly skilled training in a lot of areas where we need them. And then here in Oklahoma City, we've got OSU Oklahoma City led by Natalie Shirley, and there's about 10,000 students. So all told, we're I don't know if my math's is good here, but about 36,000 students all told.
There's a continual need to raise money when you're a college president.
Really?
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Are you comfortable with that, or do you think, gosh, enough is enough? Why do we have to keep raising the money?
You know, when they started talking to me about this job, I thought, I didn't know there'd apparently been a deprivation of oxygen or something in the room that was causing it. But really and truly, what I spend my time doing is raising funds, certainly working at the Capitol, the politics of all of it. And there's plenty of politics right there on the campus. You know, when Woodrow Wilson ran for governor of New Jersey, he was president of Princeton University. and a reporter asked him why I was running for governor, and he said to get out of politics. So there's a lot of politics involved on a college campus, but of course we have a major stake in what's going on at the Capitol here in Oklahoma City. And then finally, you're running a big operation. I mean, we have a $1.3 billion budget, 7,400 employees, 36,000 students. I mean, it's a big operation. Mm-hmm. So those are the things I spend my time on as president, and none of them are easily learned in a classroom.
I've got to ask you, how were you able to complete your new fund drive? It was new to me. Fund drive recently, 2 years ahead of schedule approximately, and raised $1 billion.
Well, Boone Pickens had a lot to do with that. He got us well down the road with about a third of that. But it's critical that we do it. But mainly we went out, just to be responsive to your question, we went out and just talked to alums about what we were trying to do and why it was important. And it was as if most of them had never been asked. I mean, it was just a matter of getting out. The state support of higher education has gone down, not precipitously here the last a couple of 3 years, but it's about 18% of our budget. It's about the same at the University of Oklahoma. So we have to make up the rest either with tuition and fees or fundraising. And grants and contracts and auxiliary kinds of income. So you've got to spend a lot of time on this, and we're going to have to spend more because it keeps going down. University of Colorado right now, I think, gets 3% from their state, and University of Virginia gets 2%. So you're much more like a private university than you are a public university, except you have all the public university oversight.
Yeah.
Tell us about your new facilities.
Well, there's a lot of things that have happened on campus. I'll go very quickly, but the big one was the $62 million addition to the student union, which was already the largest student union in America. Oh. And so that's really a fabulous job. There have been a number of them. We built the Bellman Interdisciplinary Research Center where we put equipment in there that one college or department could afford. So they all have to come together, and that's hence the name interdisciplinary. And we have several other projects have gone in, library annex, IT building, that kind of thing. But we have some very exciting facilities that are just breaking ground. One is the new business building, and another is the new human sciences. Human sciences is the college that has hotel and restaurant administration in it. And so 2 of the floors will be for that, and then the 3rd floor will be for our interior design programs. And then we're going to build a new performing arts center. And we're having, actually on October 30, we had a big kickoff for that project. And so a new music school and new performing arts center. And then we want to put an art museum on campus. We've converted the old WPA post office downtown to an art museum. And then we have a small campus program in Taos, New Mexico, called the Dole Reed Center, who was headed our art department for many, many years, and he is so. Anyway, we got lots going on. Boone Pickens Stadium, I should have mentioned. Yeah.
We got about 20 seconds left. In a couple of weeks, we're going to have a show with Ann Hargis on.
Really?
You want to promote that show for?
I do. Well, you'll
first
enjoy
cowgirl.
that. You'll enjoy that a lot more than she's doing a lot of fun things with wellness, especially, and I don't know if she'll have her pet therapy dog Scruff here with us, but if she does, pet him.
Okay. Burns Hargis, our guest today on The Verdict. Burns, congratulations on the success and everything you've done, but specifically Oklahoma State University, and we appreciate you coming on the show.
Well, thank you very much.
You're still hitting them out of the park.
Kent and I'll have a final word after this.
All children deserve a life of hope and love, but sometimes they experience a life of pain, neglect, and abuse.
When that happens, each child deserves all the quality assistance and representation that can be offered in our legal system. For more information, call 23-CHILD.
Oklahoma Lawyers for Children. helping to bring hope and love back to the lives of abused children.
You will always be Mom and Dad to me.
I think for us, once we got started and we began to see the tremendous need just within our state, it really was just a calling for us. The blessings far outweigh any obstacles that we've faced.
You will always be Mom and Dad to me.
The Journal-Record is pleased to be a sponsor of The Verdict. The Journal-Record, since 1903, the best source of Oklahoma business news and legal information. And for almost 30 years, Oklahoma political, government, and business leaders have turned to the McCarville Report for accurate, reliable, inside information. Visit the McCarville Report online.
Welcome back to the set of The Verdict. We are wrapping up a show with Burns Hargis, the president at Oklahoma State University.
Burns is a multi-talented person, and one of his greatest attributes is he's just a very kind person. He's a very nice person. I've known him, as I say, for over 30 years, well, almost 40 years, and he's been a good friend for a long time. I'm not at all surprised that he has really done well as president of Oklahoma State. He's so talented and got so much energy and great ideas. He's a very thoughtful fellow. He'll continue to do well.
He's eloquent, represents the university and the state so well, you know, on a larger stage.
And he's got a great sense of humor. He keeps you giggling all the time and doesn't take himself too seriously, although he could do that if he wanted to. He's got plenty of substance there. But appreciate him driving down from Stillwater to join us again. Hope to get him back soon.
A lot of good things going on at Oklahoma State University, and you can find out more on their website. The address is okstate.edu. That's okstate.edu. And we have a website. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us about a guest that you'd like to see on an upcoming edition of The Verdict or a subject that you'd like to see us discuss. Our website is theverdict.tv. That's going to do it for this show. For Kent Myers, I'm Mick Cornett. We'll see you next week on The Verdict.